Hello, my name is Anna, and I invite anyone into this channel space who is here to be in their bodies, to share their truth, to honor their shadow, and to serve the earth, to serve all beings on this planet. I invite you in. I invite you in. I welcome you. I say yes. I'm grateful that we're here connecting. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And anyone who is not in alignment with this message, who does not come in respect and love and reverence of the earth and of their own bodies and of the commitment to their own healing journey, I ask that you please leave and unsubscribe and please do not come back to this space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I call in those who are ready to connect in this way from a place of love and from a place of truth and authenticity. Thank you for being here. So today we are talking about Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the autoimmune disorder of the thyroid. I have no idea what the specifics of what I'm going to talk about today. I'm just letting it come through because this topic is so broad and complex. Oh my God, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, so complex. So yeah, to begin, I want to start with the diagnosis. When I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's at age 14, 10 years ago, I was told by the doctors that there's no known cause and no known cure, and I'll have to be on this hormone replacement for the rest of my life. And that didn't feel great, but I had no tools at the time to investigate, much less consider other options, and to comprehend that maybe there is a reason for Hashimoto's. Maybe there is a way that this formed in my body, that it's not out of the blue. It's not the mystery disease that every doctor I've seen has made it out to be. So I want to share this and connect with others who have, whether it's Hashimoto's or a different autoimmune disorder or hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, any thyroid imbalance. I want to just say, hey, I feel you, I see you, we're on this path together, and there is hope for healing. And not only that, but honestly, Hashimoto's it's a journey. It's the warrior's journey. It's a gift because there's so much juice in this specific coating of this dis-ease in the body. And so I want to just dive in a little bit to my story and connect with others so we can continue healing our bodies and our minds and hearts and souls. So Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disorder of the thyroid. So what's happening is that our thyroids have developed antibodies and they are attacking our own thyroids, and TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is being produced in the pituitary gland, and it is telling our thyroid to produce T3, which will turn into T4, and the thyroid's not responding. So there's this message up here in the messenger center sending massive amounts of TSH, like, hey, produce T3 and T4, and the thyroid is not. There's a disconnect. It's like, I don't hear that message. I don't hear it. I'm numb. The thyroid is numb. The thyroid is silent. The thyroid can't hear what's happening on the outside. The thyroid is frozen, essentially. It's frozen in our bodies. Okay. And so then there are the antibodies that are attacking and destroying our own body. Whoa, that's wild. Like, what? An autoimmune disorder is essentially our bodies attacking itself. And so it's important to think about where in our lives we do this with our own thoughts, where we shut down our truth, where we silence our message, where we ignore what our gut says, where we go against our body's needs and desires, we override them. It's important to start to feel into this for those of us who have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's or any autoimmune disorder or a thyroid imbalance. It's important to begin to drop into our bodies more and notice those subtle signals, because autoimmune disorders, despite what many Western doctors say, they do not just pop up out of nowhere. No dis-ease in the body does. There are signals that our body is sending us all the time, subtle, subtle signals. And so in my process of healing Hashimoto's, this journey that I'm still on, it's a journey of unnumbing myself and feeling deeper, because when we're numb, we can't feel the pain. We can't feel the things that could be indicators that something is out of alignment in our body, in our field. And so, the beauty of realizing that there is numbness is that we can then breathe with the numbness and begin to gently unearth it and begin to listen deeper. The path of healing Hashimoto's is a path of listening. It's a path of listening to our bodies again. It's a path of giving ourselves permission to rest. And this for me was key. It was number one, the rest. Freshman year of high school, when I was diagnosed, I was just deflated. My biggest symptom has always been that Hashimoto's exhaustion, and y'all know what I'm talking about if you also share this specific coding disease in the body of Hashimoto's. You know that exhaustion that you just can't describe. It's being pulled down from the inside out. It's like an implosion. It's apathy. It's just like lifelessness that is to the nth degree. And so that, in and of itself, is a loud, strong call from our bodies to rest, to slow down. I find that those of us who have developed Hashimoto's have a habit of doing, and specifically doing things for other people first before ourselves. just that. Can we sit in that for a moment? Doing things for other people before ourselves. We have a habit of overgiving to others before we fill up our own cup. And it's okay. I think that throughout this whole process, that coming back to the compassion for ourselves and how we developed this specific coding is so important. And so developing that compassion of, wow, the one who does things, the one who wants to like nurture, the one who wants to fill everyone else's cup, the ones who wants to do all these things, honor her. Thank you. And now can we bring some of that energy back into ourselves in that exhaustion? Can we let ourselves surrender to the exhaustion? Can we let ourselves rest in a deep way? And something that I found and really have been finding in the receiving of these messages around Hashimoto's healing or my own healing is the sense of unsafety in my body. This sense of like, I'm not safe anywhere. And it can be very subtle that sometimes I don't consciously notice it, but it's my nervous system being in a chronic state of fight or flight. And yeah, adrenal fatigue and Hashimoto's are super linked. And that cortisol stress response just being so active for so long to the point where, my body shut down. And so now as I'm recoding safety in my system, really noticing where like I'll still hold on out of fear and not quite know how sometimes to fully relax. And so, self-touch is really powerful for me. And, we can do it up here where our thyroid is located and just kind of holds this area of our throat, this area of our heart, this area of our shoulders and our breasts and our stomach, and just really hold ourselves and say, I feel you. I hear you. I understand you. I'm listening. I'm here. I got you. Because another pattern that I find across those of us who have Hashimoto's is this concept of being misunderstood. Like, I just don't quite, they're not understood, and I don't belong. I'm not understood, and I'm not accepted for who I really am. So I'm just gonna hold everything in, and I'm just gonna mold myself into someone I'm not, and I'm just gonna like keep it all in, and physically this, implosion here. And so something we can do is just begin to open up the heart and allow those hormones to flow, allowing ourselves to feel good again. And, the thyroid, Hashimoto's is a quote unquote disease of the thyroid. However, what it really is an imbalance in the entire body. It didn't begin in the thyroid. And so where can we feel into what areas of our lives are out of alignment? What areas, what else in our body is going on? Because the thyroid, it's like the hormone production levels, like the way that our thyroid isn't responding to the TSH and, the antibodies are attacking, like it doesn't mean that the disease began there. There's other things that have been out of harmony for a long time before the thyroid began to respond and stop responding in the way that it has to develop Hashimoto's. So looking at it in this holistic way feels a lot more compassionate and a lot more true. And yeah, so something that we can look at too is our gut, our stomach, our tummy, like what is happening in there, both in terms of digestion and food, and also just in like what do we emotionally hold in our stomach and our womb space if we have one, and those places are very like physically next to each other. And so feeling into the stomach and allowing my stomach to relax, because when my fight or flight stress response would go off, like I feel it in my stomach right away. It's just like the butterflies, and having that like day in and day out and day in and day out can really take a toll on the stomach. And the stomach is our the whole digestive system, not just the stomach. I kind of am using that to refer to all of that area, all of the intestines, the colon, even the liver. Oh my gosh, the liver is a whole other lovely space to dive into. But the gut is the center of our immune system. And so if our gut health is off, then so goes that our thyroid would be off, and other areas of our health would also be off. So really focusing on gut health beyond what we eat. And oh my God, this is a whole other topic that I can get into later, but thyroid health beyond what we eat, because yes, what we eat has a huge effect on our health. Of course, food is our first medicine. Food is medicine. Food is medicine. Food is medicine. And I am sick and tired of being told that, oh, until I change XYZ in my diet, like that's the path to healing. Until I do this, then I'm not going to be healed. But like, why in the first place is my gut even this way? And like, what's not talked about is when we are required or like told that we must give up these certain foods and change our diets in radical ways, what comes up for us? What challenges come up in the shifting of our diet? What complex emotions around food do we have that we are working through as we are choosing to give up or add in different foods to our diet? Because this is part of the healing. It's not as though that is separate from the healing. This is an integral part of the healing. Feeling into our relationship with food, feeling into the ways that the addictions that we have. For me, food was a huge addiction. And why is this important? Because it goes back to numbing. The addiction is a way that we've learned to cope, with a society that is out of alignment with our truth, that is out of alignment with our bodies, that is out of alignment with the earth, that is out of alignment with the well-being and health of our body. It's out of alignment with our body, and we know that. We know that internally, and everyone knows that. And specifically those of us who have developed Hashimoto's or any thyroid imbalance or any autoimmune disorder, we intuitively knew that at a young age, and we develop different coping mechanisms, different ways to numb the pain, essentially to survive in this society. So thank you, body, for developing these coping mechanisms. Thank you for developing speaking to myself, food addiction. Thank you for developing Hashimoto's as a way to keep me alive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I want to be in this practice of thanking Hashimoto's. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because our bodies are doing everything they can to keep us vibrantly alive in every moment, working so hard. And so how can we, I feel like I felt for so long like I've been cursed with this disease, like so angry, like why the fuck do I have this disease? Like, oh my God, like just, yeah, this sense of this curse. And I'm shifting that narrative to this honoring of Hashimoto's, because I'm alive and breathing and, really trusting that my body has my back and this rewiring of like, my body knows what's up. And I think that that's key. And, circling around to the unnumbing of ourselves, diving into our addictions, whatever the addiction is important in the process of unnumbing. Because when we're reaching for something, when we're reaching for a cigarette, when we're reaching for a beer, when we're reaching for weed, when we're reaching for another cookie, and it's not in alignment, because sometimes it's in alignment and it's beautiful to do that. But when it's not, and there's something that's being numbed and covered, not only are we numbing that emotion, but we're numbing our ability to feel when something is out of alignment and also when something is in alignment. So learning our yeses and our nos on a physical, visceral level, like what feels good? Like what can I say yes to? What can I be in that river of yes to? And what is my clear body no is really important in healing Hashimoto's, because with Hashimoto's, a boundary has been violated. A boundary has been severely violated in our own body, because our own cells are attacking ourselves, and we don't want that. No one wants that on a deep level. I don't want that. I don't want my antibodies to be attacking myself. That's a boundary crossing. No, thank you. So getting clear on our boundaries is extremely important in this healing process, because what's happening in our body, reflects what's happening in our outer world, and vice versa. So as we begin to feel into what is my yes, what is my no, where in my life are my boundaries being crossed right now, and how can I be a stand for myself, the more we begin to bring back our energy. And this is key, because one of the biggest Hashimoto's symptoms is lack of energy. And so something that is huge in this is opening up the voice and the throat chakra. And of course, because the thyroid is right here, and so a huge part of the healing is opening up our voice, standing up for our needs. Like literally, as I was saying, this motion, and in that motion too, it's the, like what wants to come through? What have I held back? What did I hold back to essentially keep myself safe? What did I hold back to allow myself to fit in, to allow myself to cope, to be in this society, to survive in all the ways that I knew how. So thank you, throat, thyroid, truth for shutting down for a while. And now that we are no longer in that mode of fight or flight, in that mode of survival, how can we shift into thriving? And a huge part of this is opening up the throat. So yes, boundary work is key. Boundaries. Yes. Oh, so good. And in addition to that, sharing our truth in other ways. The voice is an incredible vehicle for release. And so when we're feeling that sort of like everything coming inside, and that like turning in on ourselves, like when we feel that like, oh, I'm turning in on myself, our voice is a vehicle to release, and it can just be in sound, like just a little tone. And or sharing what's your story, what's your art, what's your joy, what's your pain, sharing that. And truthfully, when I began sharing my truth, I began to connect with others, not only who had Hashimoto's, but also just other people on the path of authenticity and healing. And so, so thank you for listening, anyone who made this far in this video. I just felt really called to share all this. And so please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I would love to create a community here of others who are on the path of Hashimoto's healing, and also just like on any path of healing, because I have a lot of things that I like to talk about. Hashimoto's being one big one, but also there's a link to my Elephant Journal article below, and that article is similar to this video. It's about my Hashimoto story. And I would love to have anyone with a thyroid imbalance or Hashimoto's to join us in a thyroid story sharing circle, where we will share our stories of living with this disease and healing this disease, and we'll learn from each other, and it'll be really incredible. And I also offer one-on-one coaching around thyroid imbalance and around finding your truth and speaking your truth and setting boundaries and anything that we want to dive into around this area. So please get in touch with me. My website link is also below, and thank you so much for watching. Mwah!